If you want more from a man who's not ready, don't chase. Do this instead. Carl Jung. You have been giving, pouring, trying, and hoping. You've been holding on to the idea that if you just expressed yourself enough, if you just showed your heart openly enough, maybe he would meet you where you are. You've been trying to build something meaningful with someone who keeps handing you uncertainty. And slowly, without realizing it, you started placing your happiness, your peace, your emotional grounding in someone else's hands. But there comes a moment when something inside you pauses. A subtle shift. A quiet realization that feels like truth rising to the surface. You realize you've been waiting for someone who's not walking toward you. You've been offering clarity to someone who thrives in confusion. You've been giving commitment to someone who hasn't even decided if he's ready to show up. And that moment of realization is not heartbreak. It's awakening. Let's be honest about something. Wanting clarity, consistency, and emotional presence is not asking for too much. It's the baseline of a healthy connection. But so many women are taught to believe that patience equals love. That if you just love him harder, more deeply, and more purely, he'll eventually see your worth. So you stay, you extend, you wait. You try to prove that you're the one who will never leave. But love should not be earned through exhaustion. A man who is ready does not need to be convinced. He recognizes what you bring the moment he experiences it. He steps toward you without hesitation. He shows up without needing reminders. He doesn't leave you wondering how he feels, because his actions say everything. But when a man is not ready, when he is unsure, inconsistent, or emotionally unavailable, your effort doesn't inspire him. It enables him. It teaches him that he can offer you the bare minimum and still receive the fullness of your heart. This is where the shift must happen. Not in him, in you. Because the truth is, you cannot control readiness. You cannot plant a seed in someone's heart before they're prepared to let it grow. You cannot force maturity into someone who isn't willing to step into responsibility. And you cannot love someone for choosing you. Carl Jung once wrote, "You meet your destiny on the road you take to avoid it." And many women meet heartbreak in the very effort they're using to avoid abandonment. You cling, you hold, you explain, you try, because losing him feels like losing something meaningful. But the real loss is the slow fading of your own self-respect. This is why the shift begins with reclaiming your center. You don't reclaim it by arguing. You don't reclaim it by proving your point one more time. You don't reclaim it by repeating what you need, hoping this time he'll understand. You reclaim it by stepping back, by breathing, by remembering who you were before the anxiety, before waiting, before hoping. And space is the most powerful tool you have. Not space as a strategy, not space to make him panic, not space to manipulate emotion, but space to return to yourself. Silence is not the absence of communication. Silence is where truth reveals itself. When you've already expressed your needs clearly and calmly, your work is done. The next step is not speaking more. The next step is observing. If he values connection, the space invites him to step forward. If he values comfort, the space reveals his lack of movement. Either way, the space gives you answers. No more guessing. No more decoding. No more emotional negotiations. A man's effort is always loud when he cares. So instead of pouring more energy into someone who has already shown you his limits, you begin pouring that energy back into yourself, into your emotional grounding, your routines, your body, your purpose, your peace, your self-trust. Because the woman who chooses herself is magnetic. She is no longer defined by whether someone texts her back. Her mood is not shaped by someone's attention or lack of it. Her identity is not built around being chosen, because she has chosen herself first. When you choose yourself first, everything changes. Your boundaries become natural. Your voice becomes steady. Your standards become non-negotiable. Your heart becomes protected without becoming closed. And the way men perceive you shifts completely. Because now, your value doesn't come from how much you give. It comes from how firmly you stand. The woman who knows her worth does not argue for it. She does not present her heart like a resume. She does not audition to be loved. She stands in the truth of who she is, and she lets alignment decide who stays and who fades. This is not coldness. This is clarity. Clarity is knowing that if someone truly wants you, they will move toward you, not away from you. Clarity is knowing that if someone values your presence, they will not risk losing it. Clarity is understanding that your worth is not determined by how someone treats you, but by how you treat yourself. And when you reach that clarity, you stop chasing. You stop explaining. You stop proving. You stop waiting for potential. And something powerful happens. You become the mirror. He will now see himself, his effort, his inconsistency, his avoidance, reflected clearly. And that reflection will either call him forward or reveal that he was never meant to walk beside you. Either way, you win. Because you didn't lose yourself this time. You chose you. The moment you stop chasing is the moment the dynamic shifts. Not because you're playing a game or trying to trigger a reaction, but because your energy is no longer leaking outward. It begins to return to you. You start to feel yourself again. You start to notice how much emotional labor you were carrying, how much anxiety you normalized, how much of your identity slowly intertwined with the outcome of a relationship that wasn't growing. And that realization, while painful, is also liberating. You begin to understand that love is not supposed to feel like confusion. It's not supposed to keep you up at night wondering what you did wrong. It's not supposed to make you feel like you're constantly one step away from being enough. Real love does not require you to abandon yourself to earn it. What you are craving is emotional safety and emotions. Safety never comes from someone who is unsure about you. So now your work is not to convince him to choose you. Your work is to choose yourself so deeply that anyone who wants to stand beside you must rise to that level of clarity. This is where alignment begins. When your self-worth rises, your tolerance naturally lowers. You begin to see the patterns you once excused, the mixed signals, the inconsistency, the promises that never turned into action, the emotional crumbs that held you just enough to stay but never enough to feel whole. And as your perspective sharpens, you start to realize that love is not about potential. It's about patterns. Anyone can have potential, but a pattern is who they choose to be. This is where that second young truth comes in. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul. Carl Jung. And this applies to both sides. Some men avoid stepping into real intimacy because it forces them to confront the parts of themselves they've never dealt with. Vulnerability, responsibility, emotional presence. So instead of growing, they stay distant, distracted, or inconsistent, telling themselves they're not ready, rather than admitting they're afraid to evolve. But women avoid facing their souls in a different way, by staying where love must be earned instead of recognized, by clinging to the idea that if they just love harder, the story will change, by holding on to potential instead of reality. Growth begins when you stop avoiding yourself, when you sit with the truth of what you feel, when you stop justifying behavior that hurts you, when you stop calling it inconsistency. Maybe someday. You deserve a love that meets you where you are, not a love you must chase. So now instead of asking, why isn't he choosing me? You begin asking, why am I choosing someone who doesn't show up for me? That question is not judgment. It is transformation. Because when you ask it honestly, the answers guide you back to your own power. You begin to see where old wounds shaped your patterns. Maybe you learned to earn love, not receive it. Maybe you grew up thinking attention must be worked for. Maybe you believed that if you left, you'd lose your chance at love entirely. But real love is never lost when you walk away from what harms you. Walking away doesn't mean you didn't care. It means you cared enough to protect your spirit. You cared enough to not let your heart be slowly chipped away. You cared enough to believe that love should feel like peace, not like a battle you keep losing. So, you create distance, not to punish him, but to return to yourself. And the first thing you notice when you step back is how loud the silence becomes. The silence where your effort used to be. The silence where your emotional giving once filled every gap. And in that silence, his real investment becomes visible. If he steps forward, not out of fear, not out of insecurity, but out of genuine clarity, then you will see it clearly. If he does nothing, then you also have your answer. There's no bitterness needed, no resentment, no emotional explosion, just acceptance. Acceptance is where your power lives. Because now, you're not reacting to his behavior. You're responding to your own clarity. Your heart becomes grounded again. Your breath evens out. Your emotional world no longer rises and falls based on a message, a call, or a promise. You become steady, present, and strong. And that strength is not loud. It's not aggressive. It is quiet, rooted, and graceful. This grace is what makes your absence unforgettable, not because you slammed the door, but because you walked away with dignity. You didn't beg, you didn't break. You simply stepped back into alignment with your own worth. And that changes everything. Because the woman who chooses herself is never forgotten. Your energy lingers, not because of attachment, but because of self-respect. He will remember the softness you gave, yes, but it is your strength that echoes after you leave. And here's the truth. A man who is never going to choose you long-term will not chase you now. And that is a blessing, because now you are free. Free from waiting, free from overthinking, free from the emotional limbo that was draining you. But a man who sees your worth, truly sees it, will not let the door close without stepping through it. He will not let your silence become permanent. He will not gamble with a woman who knows her value. And if he does step forward, it will not be tentative. It will not be unclear. It will not be half-hearted. He will come with certainty, with presence, with action, not promises. Because now, the standard is different. This next chapter is not about attracting attention. It is about attracting alignment. A relationship where love is mutual, where effort is consistent, where both people choose each other clearly. No confusion, no convincing, no emotional warfare. You are not asking for perfection. You are asking for partnership. And partnership begins with two people who know their worth and honor it. You start rebuilding not by making declarations, but by changing the small, quiet things that shape your days. Your mornings stop revolving around your phone. Your first thought isn't, "Did he text?" It becomes, "How do I want to feel today?" You choose rituals that anchor you. Water before caffeine, sunlight on your skin, movement that reminds your body it is alive. You stop outsourcing your nervous system to uncertainty. The steadier your habits, the clearer your head becomes. And what used to feel complicated begins to look simple. You notice how much energy they almost took from you. It is refreshing. The rationalizations, the way your mind tried to turn mixed signals into a puzzle worth solving. You forgive yourself for all of it. Not because you ignored reality, but because you loved with an open heart. That was never a mistake. What changes now is not your capacity to love. It's your willingness to love only where love can live. Rebuilding isn't withdrawal, it's reorientation. You turn toward the life that makes you magnetic. You recommit to goals you shelved. You take the class, finish the certification, lift heavier, sleep deeper. You track the promises. You keep to yourself, because self-trust is the sexiest thing you can wear. The more you trust yourself, the less you chase reassurance. Assurance radiates from within. Here is a simple frame. Express once. Observe twice. Decide once. Express once. Cleanly, calmly, without apology. Observe twice. Actions over time, not words in a moment. Decide once. A decision that honors your future, not your fear. This removes the emotional whiplash of toggling between hope and doubt. It makes space for reality to speak plainly. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Carl Jung's line lands differently now. Your unconscious once believed love must be earned. It sent you back into scenarios where earning was the game. Bringing that belief into the light breaks the loop. You stop treating anxiety as chemistry. You stop confusing intensity with intimacy. You recognize that the emotional roller coaster felt addictive because it was unpredictable. Rewards always do. What you want now is not adrenaline, it's oxygen. Boundaries become the architecture of that oxygen. Boundaries are not walls, they are doors you open with intention. They sound like I'm available for clarity, not confusion. I don't repeat the same conversation. If effort fades, access fades. You don't deliver these as threats. You live them as practice. People believe what you consistently do. Mirroring energy is no longer a tactic. It's data collection. When responses lag, you fill your time with your life, not with waiting. When plans are vague, you say that doesn't work for me. Offer specifics. And if specifics don't come, the calendar remains yours. When someone resurfaces after silence, you don't punish them. You pattern check. Consistency over charm. Rhythm over rush. Presence over performance. Patterns predict futures. You refine your screening. Instead of asking, "Is he into me?" you ask, "Does his lifestyle have room for me?" A man can like you and still be unavailable, so you look for congruence. Words matching behavior. Intentions meet logistics. Attraction supported by follow-through. You learn the difference between momentum and motion. Motion is activity without progress. Momentum is direction with effort. You accept nothing less than momentum. You also raise your communication standard. You don't write essays to fix what a sentence could reveal. You don't narrate your pain to someone who refuses to listen. You use the clearest language you own. I'm looking for shared effort and steady connection. If that's not where you are, that's okay, but I'll bow out. Clean, respectful, final. No unspoken contracts, no emotional debt. When grief arrives, and it will, because even unhealthy attachments leave empty spaces, you let it move through you like weather. You do not mistake it for a sign to go back. Grief is the body releasing a hoped-for future. Let it go. You breathe through the ache without calling it destiny. You can miss someone while knowing they were not your match. Both can be true, and truth is what sets you free. Your standards sharpen into signals. Availability becomes visible in calendars and commitments. Emotional maturity shows up in repair, not perfection. Interest is evident in initiation, not intermittent flattery. Safety is measured by how regulated you feel in their presence. Grounded, not hypervigilant. Seen, not managed. Expanded, not compressed. If your body constantly braces, believe it. You stop treating your heart like a negotiation table. You treat it like a sanctuary. Sanctuary attracts devotion, not disruption. People rise to reverence, or they remove themselves. Either outcome serves you. You also expand your circle. You invest in friendships that stretch you upward. You practice letting people witness you without rushing to perform. The more seen you are by those who cherish you, the less tempting it becomes to chase those who don't. Community stabilizes standards. Isolation erodes them. Dating, when you choose it, becomes an aligned practice rather than an anxious audition. You pace it with your nervous system. You keep first dates short and light. Not because you're guarded, but because you're wise. You listen for self-awareness. Can he name a mistake without blaming? Does he speak of former partners with respect? Does he take responsibility for his life or recite a list of grievances? You don't need a perfect resume. You need evidence of growth. You anchor yourself in 3 vows. 1. I will not abandon myself to be loved. 2. I will not negotiate my non-negotiables. 3. I will not confuse scarcity with standards. Those vows hold when chemistry flares. They hold when silence tempts you to explain. They hold when loneliness whispers that a maybe is better than a no. You recognize loneliness as a visitor, not a verdict. You meet it with movement, creativity, conversation, prayer, nature, anything that returns you to the larger life you're building. You reframe attraction itself. You're not attracted to hot and cold anymore. You're attracted to warm and steady. You're not moved by theatrics. You're moved by reliability. Consistency becomes your love language, because consistency is how trust breathes. You also reframe hard to get. You are not hard to get. You are easy to lose. That distinction keeps you soft and strong at once. Your softness is available to those who handle it with care. Your strength escorts out anything that doesn't. You keep your standards visible in your schedule. Your workouts are appointments with your future. Your creative blocks are non-negotiable. Your rest is sacred. You plan joy on purpose, not as a reward for being chosen, but as a rhythm of being alive. A life designed with intention is naturally selective. It filters out chaos. The men who belong in this next chapter feel the difference. They sense the quiet certainty in the way you move. You don't audition, you invite. You don't chase, you choose. You don't threaten to leave, you're simply prepared to. Detachment is not dismissal. It's devotion to truth. You are devoted to the truth. And yes, some will still try to test the edges. They'll push for access without effort, intimacy without presence, attention without accountability. They meet a boundary so calm that it feels like a mirror. That won't work for me. There's no lecture, no layered justifications, just the reflection of their choice and the reality of yours. This is how you become unforgettable without trying. Not through tactics, but through integrity. The integrity of alignment. The relief of no longer living at the mercy of someone else's uncertainty. The joy of giving your best where the best can be received. You realize you were never asking for too much. You were asking the wrong person. And now, the right ones can find you because you're no longer cloaked in confusion. You are clear. You are calm. You are already living the love you expect in how you treat yourself, in what you allow and what you release. Rebuilding isn't a chapter you rush through. It's the foundation everything solid stands on. Brick by honest brick, you lay it. Self-respect, daily rituals, embodied boundaries, Community, purpose, rest. By the time someone worthy arrives, he meets a woman who didn't pause her life to be chosen. He meets a woman already in motion, already fulfilled, already whole. He doesn't complete you, he complements you. And together you build not a roller coaster, but a home. There comes a point in this journey where the shift is no longer about him at all. It becomes about you, about the woman you are becoming as you rise out of patterns that once felt familiar. And this rising isn't loud. It doesn't look like slamming doors or dramatic exits. It looks like quiet, grounded certainty. It looks like waking up one day and realizing you don't feel the same pull to go back. The emotional gravity has changed. Healing begins when you stop asking, "Why didn't he choose me?" and start asking, "Why was I choosing someone who couldn't meet me?" That question turns the light inward, not in judgment, but in clarity. You begin to explore the roots, the wiring, the beliefs that shaped how you loved. You begin to understand that sometimes the reason we hold on to someone has nothing to do with love, and everything to do with what love once felt like. Maybe you grew up thinking love was something you had to earn. Maybe you were attached to the chase because the chase felt familiar. Maybe uncertainty felt like home because somewhere in your past, love came with guessing, waiting, hoping. This is where the deeper work begins. The part where you meet yourself beneath your patterns. Carl Jung said, "Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakens." When you look inside, you begin to awaken. You start to recognize the difference between desire and attachment. Desire is spacious. It invites connection. Attachment is tight. It clings to what hurts. Once you understand that difference, you stop romanticizing emotional chaos. You stop mistaking intensity for depth. You stop believing that love must feel like tension in the chest. Real love is calm. It's grounding. It brings you home to yourself, not away from yourself. So you begin to slow down. You begin to listen to your body instead of your longing. How do you feel around him? Not just in the peak moments, but in the quiet ones. Do you feel relaxed, or do you feel like you're performing? Do you feel safe, or do you feel like you're being evaluated? Do you feel expanded, or do you feel smaller? Your nervous system is your truth teller. If your chest tightens, if your stomach sinks, or if your breath shortens, that's your body speaking. You don't need more conversations. You don't need another. Where is this going? Talk. Your body already told you. You start to honor that knowing. This is where your standards evolve from words to embodiment. Not, "I deserve better," as a statement, but as a lived truth. You don't chase. You don't negotiate with inconsistency. You don't keep setting yourself on fire to keep the connection warm. You simply allow the relationship to reveal what it is, and you respond accordingly. If effort matches yours, the bond strengthens. If it doesn't, the bond dissolves. Not through force, but through lack of nourishment. And here's the shift. You no longer take that dissolution personally. It does not mean you were unlovable. It means the dynamic did not have the emotional structure to hold you. You stop seeing yourself as someone trying to be chosen. You see yourself as the chooser. Your time is valuable. Your attention is valuable. Your emotional labor is valuable. When you treat these things as valuable, others learn to treat them that way too. This is where the world around you begins to reflect your internal transformation. The friendships you cultivate deepen. You attract conversations that nourish rather than drain. You feel clearer in your direction, your voice, and your purpose. You move through your days with intention rather than waiting for emotional cues from someone else. Your life begins to expand, and with that expansion, your standards refine themselves naturally. You begin to recognize it. When someone approaches you from a place of want rather than willingness, want is hunger. It takes. Willingness is devotion. It shows up. A man who is willing does not wait until you are leaving to express effort. His consistency is not a reaction to loss. It is part of his character. This is where your discernment sharpens. You no longer fall for intensity. You look for integrity. You no longer fall for words. You look for follow-through. You no longer fall for potential. You look for demonstrated growth. Because love is not just how someone feels about you. Love is how they show up for you. And the right man will show up in ways that feel like relief. Conversations feel warm, not strategic. Presence feels steady, not temporary. Affection feels shared, not earned. With him, your heart doesn't have to negotiate against itself. You don't have to sacrifice your softness to feel safe. You don't have to silence your needs to feel chosen. You don't have to shrink your glow to remain wanted. He doesn't just love you, he makes room for you. In his plans, in his days, in his emotional world. You finally understand that the love you were chasing was never about him. It was about the part of you that believed love required struggle. But now, you are rewriting that belief. Because the moment you honor your soul is the moment life begins to align around you. Your voice deepens, your presence roots, your energy steadies. You no longer fear letting go. You fear betraying yourself. And that shift is where your power lives. Not in control, not in persuasion, not in maintaining connection, but in your ability to choose peace over potential. You stop asking, will he come back? You start asking, do I even want him back if he does not grow? The answer becomes clearer each day. When you rise into self-respect, your heart becomes a sacred place. Not everyone gets access, and the one who does will never take it for granted. There is a profound shift that happens when you begin living from self-worth instead of longing. The world responds differently to a woman who is rooted in herself. Her presence changes. Her posture changes. Her energy communicates something quietly powerful. I am whole. I am steady. I do not chase. I choose. This is not armor. This is alignment. When you stop centering your emotional world around whether someone stays, you become free in a way that radiates. Your heart is unguarded. It is guided. You move with intention instead of fear. You no longer grip tightly. You allow it. You observe. You trust. You begin to understand that your life is not waiting to start. Your life has already begun. And love is something invited into it, not something your world revolves around. This is the point where you stop being someone who reacts to love, and you become someone who creates love. You create it in the way you speak to yourself. You create it in the boundaries you uphold. You create it in the joy you cultivate without needing another person to spark it. You realize love was never missing. Your attention was simply focused outward instead of inward. Now the focus shifts. You begin to ask yourself questions that reshape your identity. Who am I when I am not chasing? Who am I when I am not proving? Who am I when I am not waiting to be chosen? And the answers come slowly, subtly, like dawn light revealing the room. You begin to notice the things you love, the music that moves you, the silence that steadies you, the dreams you had before love became a battlefield. Pieces of yourself return that you didn't even realize you lost. You become softer, but not weak. You become clearer, but not closed. You become discerning, but not distant. Your heart becomes a place of peace again. And as you return to yourself, the kind of love you attract changes, because now you are no longer emotionally starving. You are no longer searching for someone to fill a space. You are full. And fullness attracts fullness. This is when men who are not aligned with your self-worth start to fall away effortlessly. You don't have to push them out. You don't have to argue. You don't have to explain. They simply cannot meet you where you now stand. And there is no heartbreak in that. Only clarity. Your life begins to mirror this new standard of self-honoring. Your conversations become richer, more honest, and more intentional. You find yourself surrounded by people who speak life into you. You feel held, not by another person's affection, but by your own presence. You realize that you are no longer lonely in your solitude. Your solitude has become a sanctuary. And from that sanctuary, love begins to take on a different meaning. Love is no longer something you chase. Love is something that meets you. Love is no longer urgent. Love is unfolding. Love is no longer performance. Love is truth. Carl Jung said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." This is what you are doing now, becoming not for him, not for love, and not for validation. You are becoming for you. This is emotional sovereignty, the ability to hold yourself, soothe yourself, affirm yourself, and remain centered regardless of who comes or goes. You no longer fear loss. You no longer fear disappointment. You no longer fear starting again because you trust yourself to recover. You trust yourself to see clearly. You trust yourself to choose you. This trust changes everything. It changes the way you date, the way you give, the way you love. You no longer rush into emotional intimacy because someone shows interest. Interest is easy. Consistency is devotion. You no longer mistake attention for effort. Effort is visible. Effort is directional. Effort is steady. You no longer remain available to someone who is unsure. Uncertainty does not inspire patience. It signals misalignment. You don't need to wait for clarity to appear. You are the clarity. And when a man meets a woman who is anchored in her clarity, he knows immediately what he is dealing with. He cannot breadcrumb her. He cannot half love her. He cannot exist in the doorway between yes and no. He has to decide. And if he is the right one, the decision is easy. The right man is not intimidated by your standards. He is grateful for them. The right man does not need to be convinced to step up. He steps forward naturally. The right man does not shy away from your emotional depth. He meets it and adds his own. With him, connection doesn't feel like tension. It feels like recognition. There is no guessing, no pushing, no trying to decode signals. The energy is mutual. The effort is mutual. The desire is mutual. You don't lose yourself in the relationship. You expand within it. Your softness becomes safer. Your openness becomes effortless. Your love becomes a gift, not a gamble. This is the love that was waiting for you all along. But you had to rise into yourself to receive it. Because love does not arrive when you are chasing. Love arrives when you are ready. Ready meaning whole. Ready means steady. Ready meaning you know who you are, what you deserve, and what you will no longer accept. This is who you are now. A woman who does not beg for love. A woman who does not shrink to be chosen. A woman who does not confuse potential with partnership. A woman who chooses herself first and, in doing so, attracts love that chooses her back fully. Your story did not end with the one who could not show up. Your story begins when you walk toward yourself. There comes a moment when everything inside you quiets. Not because you no longer care, but because the tug-off war has ended. The struggle to be understood, chosen, prioritized releases. You stop negotiating for space in someone else's life. You stop trying to learn what should flow naturally. Your heart steps out of the waiting room, and you finally come home to yourself. This is not the end of love. It is the beginning of love that feels like home instead of hunger. You start to see the beauty in all the lessons you once resented. The heartbreak didn't break you. It broke what needed to fall away. The confusion didn't weaken you. It sharpened your discernment. The waiting didn't waste your time. It revealed your patterns. The longing didn't diminish you. It deepened your capacity to feel. You emerge from this journey with a different kind of softness, one that is not naive, a softness paired with self-respect, a softness that does not beg, does not chase, and does not cling. A softness that says, I can love deeply without abandoning myself. That is power. You begin living from a place of overflow rather than scarcity. You no longer approach love as something to secure, but as something to share. You know now that the right connection doesn't require strategy. It doesn't require emotional gymnastics. It doesn't require losing yourself to keep someone else close. It requires presence, reciprocity, and truth. Your energy becomes magnetic because it is no longer seeking. It is attractive. And now when someone enters your life, you no longer rush to fill silence with explanations, fantasies, or projections. You let them reveal themselves. You allow the connection to unfold without forcing it. You let reality speak before your hope interprets. You no longer try to prove your worth. You embody it. You show your heart slowly and intentionally with grace. You give love to those who show they can hold it. You don't harden. You refine. Your standards are not a list you carry. They are the rhythm of how you live. You communicate honestly. You choose peace over intensity. You prioritize consistency over excitement. You value emotional responsibility over charm. You seek alignment, not attachment. This maturity and love shift your entire world. You start to recognize when someone is drawn to your light but cannot sustain their own. You recognize when someone loves the idea of you but not the reality of intimacy. You recognize when someone craves comfort, not connection. And instead of trying to fix, teach, or convince, you release, not from bitterness, but from clarity. Because you finally understand what is meant for you does not require you to abandon yourself to keep it. Your heart has become wiser now. It knows the difference between attention and devotion. It knows the difference between potential and partnership. It knows the difference between intensity and intimacy. And as this clarity settles, you step into a new kind of love, the kind that begins within. You start listening to your own needs. You start honoring your own emotions. You start building a life that nourishes you. This is where your joy returns. Not the joy that depends on someone's presence, effort, or reassurance, but the joy that comes from being aligned with your soul. You laugh deeper. You trust your path more. You feel peaceful in your own company. You no longer fear solitude because solitude is no longer empty. It is fertile, a place where your dreams grow. You begin to feel ready for a love that matches the life you are building. Not a love built on fear or fixation. Not a love built on longing or lack. But a love built on two whole beings, choosing each other freely. And when that love arrives, whether it is soon or slowly, you will recognize it instantly. Not because of intensity, but because of ease. It will feel like I don't have to try to be enough here. I don't have to explain the basics of care. I don't have to chase effort. I don't have to perform for affection. I don't have to lose myself to be loved. It will feel like openness, like grounding, like peace. You will not fear losing him because you did not lose yourself in loving him. That is the difference. And should the past ever knock at your door, the one who didn't choose you fully, the one who kept you waiting, the one who needed your love but couldn't return it, you will feel something surprising. Not anger, not longing, not desire. You will feel distance, the emotional distance that forms when you finally see what never aligned. You will feel gratitude for the lessons, but no desire to relive them because you are not the same woman anymore. You are a woman who has learned to love without losing herself. And that version of you is unforgettable. Not because you left loudly, but because you rose gracefully. Because you walked away without closing your heart. Because you chose healing over ego. Because you reclaimed your voice, your body, your boundaries, and your life. This was never about him. This was always about your return to you. You are the home you were seeking. You are the peace you were chasing. You are the love you were waiting for. And now from that wholeness, love can find you. The kind that meets you as you are, honors your heart, deepens your peace, and chooses you every single day without hesitation. You are not hard to love. You were loving the emotionally absent. You were loving from longing, not groundedness. That time is over now. You have stepped into your worth. You have stepped into your wholeness. You have stepped into your power. The story that comes next will not require you to beg for clarity. It will be clear from the beginning. The story that comes next will not dim your light to feel safe. It will expand your light. The story that comes next will not take you away from yourself. It will bring you deeper into yourself because now you choose yourself first, and the love that is worthy of you will rise to meet that choice.